Good morning and thanks for tuning in to Northwest News. This week we'll remember the life of former Northwest President Dean L. Hubbard, take a look at Tri Sigma's Karen Hawkins Memorial Week, and more. You're watching Northwest News.
Good morning. Thanks for tuning in to Northwest News, the show where we provide the latest coverage on the Northwest campus and in the Maryville community. I'm Wiley Ray.
And I'm Skylar Stamps. Northwest Missouri State University is adding 2 master's degree programs. Last week, the Board of Regents approved a Master of Public Administration degree to be offered in the Department of Humanities and Social Sciences and a Master of Science degree in Therapeutic Recreation.
Northwest Provost Dr. Jamie Hoyman explains that having a Master of Public Administration will help assist individuals seeking employment in career advancement in government, nonprofit organizations, and other public sectors.
Hoyman also explains that Northwest already offers a Therapeutic Recreation emphasis that has more than 50 students enrolled.
She explains the need to offer it as a master's program, however, stems from requirement changes implemented by the National Council for Therapeutic Recreation Certification. Northwest will launch both master's programs online, with the Therapeutic Recreation degree program starting next fall and the Public Administration degree beginning in spring 2026.
In other campus news, Northwest Missouri State University is mourning the loss of Northwest's longest-serving president.
Dr. Dean L. Hubbard passed away on March 23rd at his home in Kansas City, surrounded by family. Hubbard was 85 when he lost his battle with kidney disease.
Hubbard served as Northwest president from 1984 to 2009. During his time at Northwest, Hubbard oversaw unprecedented growth, success, and recognition.
In honor of Hubbard, Northwest President Dr. Lance Tatum has ordered that the U.S. and Missouri flags be flown at half-staff on the university campus from March 25th to Friday, April 4th.
Tatum stated in an email, quote, "Jill and I extend our deepest sympathy to Alesta and the Hubbard family on the passing of Dr. Dean Hubbard, Northwest's 9th president. His 25 years of dedicated service to this institution were extraordinary, and his contributions to Northwest set the foundation for many of today's accomplishments."
Happening last week on the Northwest campus, one sorority is honoring and remembering a fellow sister.
Northwest News reporter Reece Hill shares more on the week-long events that were held in her honor.
Tri Sigma recently concluded its annual Karen Hawkins Memorial Week, a week in which the sorority hosts a number of events in remembrance of one of its members who was a victim of sexual assault and murder. On Wednesday, they held a self-defense class which was open to the public. Those in attendance were able to learn a variety of guards, punches, and kicks from members of the campus police department. Tri Sigma sister Lauren Slocum says it's important for women to learn to defend themselves from potential attackers.
I had never done self-defense previously, but this is now my 3rd time doing this specific class. I think it's really important for girls to be educated about this stuff, especially since we're in college. You never know what's going to happen.
Along with the self-defense class, other activities put on by the sorority included a presentation by one of the detectives who investigated the Hawkins case and a memorial walk to finish off the week. Tri Sigma Philanthropy Chair Brielle Washington Riney says that the Greek community at Northwest engages well with the events and raising awareness about sexual assault.
Karen Hawkins Week is super important to us because it is in remembrance of a sister from 1995 who was sexually assaulted and murdered. Raising awareness for this week is super important, and we get a lot of the Greek community to come out because everyone feels that this week is quite important.
Washington Riney says that Karen Hawkins Memorial Week is one of Tri Sigma's hallmark events and a great representation of the organization's values.
I just feel like this week is what really gets people to know about Tri Sigma. It's something that we really emphasize during our recruitment and on social media, and we get alum to come, we get the whole community to come, so it's just really big part of Tri Sigma and what our values are.
For more on the stories that matter to you, I'm Reece Hill, reporting for Northwest News.
Shout out for those who showed support this week and attended Tri Sigma's Karen Hawkins Week.
Looking ahead, we will take a look at production put on by Theater Northwest last week.
When we return, Northwest News reporter Zac Scott tells us more about the process of the production. You're watching Northwest News.
Running since 1971, broadcast 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. Featuring programs and news from National Public Radio, as well as Americana, jazz, and classical music. KXCV 90.5 FM Maryville, KNRW 88.9 FM Chillicothe.
Tyrell, did you hear the news?
No, what's up, Noah?
Well, there's a new season of Nerd Central. No, man, there's so much new stuff.
Like what?
Well, Hero to Zero, Star Wars lore.
Oh my God, the Magical Mystery Music Tour and Reel and Beats? This is incredible.
Want to go check it out on YouTube?
You know I do.
The Reels and Beats pack sounds very interesting.
I just love the host of that one. That one's great.
Seems interesting.
Thank you for sticking with us and welcome back to Northwest News. Happening over at the Ron Houston Center for the Performing Arts, Theater Northwest held a performance titled God of Carnage.
Northwest News reporter Zac Scott tells us more about how the performance went and the process of putting the show together.
Theater Northwest hosted its next student-directed production in the studio theater called The God of Carnage. Written by playwright Yasmina Riza, The God of Carnage is a 4-actor play following two couples showing the perspective of what people look like when they drop their mask of who they say they are. This is the second show directed by third-year Billy McCoy, who wanted to convey the message of the human nature the average person hides from the world.
What I really wanted to show with this production is the fact that everybody has their own instincts and own human nature, and when people are attacked, they will show their true selves. And so it is a commentary on what's happening in the world right now and the fact that the people in power are not the people we should always trust because they have a facade just like all of us do. And when they're attacked or when people are against them, they will go back to their instincts, their human nature, which is at its core selfish.
God of Carnage opened for audiences on March 28th and closed on March 29th. Bringing both laughter and a vital message to each watcher, with both nights ending in a standing ovation. This has been Zac Scott with Northwest News.
Theater Northwest will have their next production titled Pride and Prejudice at 7:30 p.m. on April 10th through the 12th in the Marylyn Auditorium.
There will also be another performance held on April 13th at 2 p.m. for those that cannot make it to the 7:30 p.m. show times.
While most people know the signature tune of the Northwest Campus Bell Tower, last week one student-run organization added a different ring to it.
Northwest News reporter Micah Stolley went to see what all the noise was about.
The Bearcat Bell Tower Block Party was held in the Bell Tower on Northwest Campus. The event offered popcorn, snow cones, and a collection of garden games for students to enjoy. KZLX brought a few speakers to play their music for the Northwest community and to promote the station. General Manager of KZLX, Tanner DeHaven, explains why this event benefits the station.
Really, it just helps with getting a lot of exposure to campus students who may not know that KZLX exists. We've had a lot of conversations within our own ranks about people not knowing that KZLX is on campus. Even though we are a radio station and you can hear us anywhere around the Maryville area, it really just helps with getting people interconnected on campus a lot better.
This is the first of these events, with more to come hopefully in the future. The event was organized by Cale Knox, who is the music director for KZLX. Knox discussed with all the clubs who collaborated on the event and how the event was set up. The Bearcat Bell Tower Block Party acted as a way to showcase the variety of media clubs here on campus and how that benefits the campus. Knox explains why he wanted to host the event for Northwest.
It's an event that I wanted to start organizing annually at KZLX. It's something that I feel brings a lot of awareness into student media and really just campus events in general. And I feel like it would be a good way to kind of bring like a fun little spin on the DJing and the radio station while still including, you know, KNWT, the yearbook, everybody that wants to be involved. It's kind of just like a big goulash of like, let's just spread awareness and have fun.
Students who went were not only able to play games and hang out with friends, but also showed the impact of the media clubs here on campus. Many students were able to learn about what KZLX does and what ways they are involved on campus. Many other media students were there to help explain the different student media orgs on campus. Merrick Leddington explains what the event means to students.
I kind of like to see the media side of it, especially since I'm considering switching my majors to being sports media. So yeah, I think it definitely influences my major aspect.
KZLX plans to host more events in the future to allow students to get to know the radio station better. Reporting for Northwest News, I'm Micah Stolley.
Huge shout out to the staff of KZLX for hosting a fun and engaging event for students to attend and learn more about this student-run radio station.
For more information on KZLX or how to join, email Alex Kerr at akurt@nwmissouri.edu. You can also find KZLX on all main social media platforms, as well as tune in on your radio to 106.7 or find them by searching KZLX LP Maryville on onlineradiobox.com.
Coming up, we will check out some highlights from last week's edition of the Missourian with managing editor Hannah Claywell. You're watching Northwest News.
Hey Tyrell, why don't you tell everyone what we do here?
But yeah, of course, because here at Alternatives and Options, we find uncommon solutions to common problems. For instance, did you know that tinfoil could be used as an alternative to batteries?
Our goal is to find the most effective, efficient, and affordable options for you.
Whether we're in the lab.
So how much do you really know about laundry detergent? Or on the field? We'll do our best
to give you the best
alternatives and options.
Welcome back to Northwest News, the place where you can find news and whereabouts on what's happening in the Northwest and Maryville community. Thanks for sticking with us.
Last week, the Northwest Missourian included coverage about the COVID pandemic turning 5 years old and changes to the Northwest baseball team. Managing editor of the Northwest Missourian, Hannah Claywell, tells us more.
Thanks, Skylar and Wiley. In this week's issue of the Missourian, we will take a sneak peek into the COVID pandemic turning 5 years old and changes to the Northwest baseball team. Half a decade has passed since the COVID outbreak was declared a national emergency in the United States. The pandemic causing mass shutdowns across the country, specifically in schools. Individuals who were in middle and high school when the pandemic first hit are now college-age adults. Northwest freshman Kelly Lynn Owens was in 8th grade in March 2020. The then 14-year-old was sleeping over at her friend's house when she found out about her extended spring break, and she said she and her friends were thrilled at first. However, the initial excitement quickly wore off for Owens, whose mother was diagnosed with cancer in January of that year. Kelly Lynn Owens says, "A lot of my teachers were super supportive and helpful during that time because my mom was in the hospital the whole time and my dad was there taking care of her. I was spending a lot of time alone, and honestly, I really missed school. I missed just having some kind of support system." Owens did not return to school until her sophomore year of high school. At that point, her mother had died and her father's work union was on strike, so she worked part-time at McDonald's to help out her family. She also said she did not feel ready to return to school just yet. Next, we take a look at the changes to the Northwest baseball team. The last thing a baseball player wants is to hit 3 strikes and be called out. However, for some players at Northwest, being out is the reality they have to face. First-year head baseball coach Tony Jandron was hired in June, and he made cuts to the team at the end of the fall 2024 semester. Northwest Director of Athletics Andy Peterson said this is typical action for new coaches. However, for those players cut, this meant losing their spots on the team, as well as scholarship funding earned through playing. Jandron held exit meetings with these players near the end of the fall semester. He said he used the time to get to know the players and thought it would be beneficial to use this semester to allow everyone to prove themselves. This also gives students time to transfer and play at another school if they choose to. One former Northwest baseball player who would like to remain anonymous said during his exit meeting he was made aware of his options and chose to transfer out of the university. For more on these stories or to read the full version of the stories, be sure to read this week's issue of the Missourian. Now back to your Northwest news anchors, Skylar and Wiley.
Thank you, Hannah, and to the staff of the Northwest Missourian for providing us coverage on these stories.
Well, that's all the time we have for Northwest News. Be sure to go to the description below to rewatch certain sections of our show.
And be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for all of the latest news and updates. Thank you for tuning in, and we hope to catch you here next week as we go live every Sunday at 11 a.m. This has been Northwest News. Thanks for watching.